Conaway.
Yes.
We got some exciting news.
Oh,
for
yeah.
you.
I consider it an honor just to hold your hand. Who would have known that God had all this in his plans? Don't need no rabbit foot or clover to hold in my hands. You my good luck charm, you can say I'm a lucky man.
Yeah. Seems like it's long to get to the podcast.
Listen, follow us on all major platforms. Follow
I
us on
consider
all
it an
major
honor.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Just to
I am
hold
your
your
girl, Neil,
hand.
and this is my amazing
Who would have known
husband,
that
Ray
God had all this in
Conaway.
his
And we
plans?
are covered by
Don't need no
Conaway.
rabbit foot or clover to hold in my hands. You my good luck charm, you can say I'm a lucky man.
YouTube, yeah.
Yes.
So follow us on all major platforms, all of them, under Covered by Conaway. We didn't.
Male shirt is not was designed to carry weight. I didn't do that. The maker did it. We had bigger muscle mass. As our bone structures are stronger. So some things, if you just look at it from the ground level, we were just built
Different.
to carry certain things.
Built different.
That when
Yeah.
But what y'all was built for is something that we couldn't do.
Absolutely. Y'all ain't got
We
these
can't-
pelvises.
we
Y'all
didn't-
ain't got these pelvises
No,
like
we-
us.
Not only just the pelvis, it's just the whole other things, the nurturing part. It's hard for a man to nurture and be in that. And even if a man do operate in emotion, it's hard. It's hard for them
Yeah.
to navigate that.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
become violent.
Yeah.
When y'all have emotional breakdown, y'all might go in your quiet place to yourself and sort of reflect with yourself.
Yeah.
Man get violent. Sometimes he get emotional, he get violent.
He gets violent. Yeah.
So it's a real dangerous place.
Yeah.
to be.
So maybe in that generation, the times of our grandmothers, maybe it produced different mothers because they didn't carry as much of the weight.
Right.
Because they didn't have as much of the responsibility. The responsibility they had, though, they straight up stewarded well
Yes.
their responsibility.
Yes.
And I think there was more cohesiveness in the family structure,
Yes.
right? And in the structure of community.
I think it was an agreement. I think it was an unwritten agreement that I knew I was going to be the wife of this house. I was going to be the woman of this house. I was going to have to make sure the kids are clean, educated. I'm going to have to make sure the food is there. I'm make sure that things are getting taken care of. I'm going to have to manage this because you was a straight up manager, a logistics. That's what mothers when you think about your mothers,
a real CEO now.
your mother was already
Mothers are real
managing things.
CEOs.
She was running a business.
Yeah.
She was running the Conaway Inc. business. You know what I'm saying? She was making sure everybody was moving in their right places. She had everybody in there lined up. She even in Sunday, she had everybody's stuff out. She knew what everybody needed to be doing. She already got up early in the morning. She made sure the nourishments were there. So she was a CEO. She was a manager. She made sure everything was in place.
Yeah.
But there was an agreement between the two. If I can go out here and work and I bring it in, then you take care of the house.
Yeah.
But again, I like to say that role has actually changed significantly. And here's the problem is we lost a lot of our manliness. We lost the masculinity of what it means to be a man.
Well, of course, because if I'm having to be the mother, and in most of those situations, let's just say because of a lot of the things that happened then was because the man left the house, right?
Yes.
The man left the family.
Yes.
So the family doesn't look anymore like the nuclear family once
Right.
looked. So that means now you just said it yourself, that we're more emotional. So now I'm raising these children
Right.
by myself. So if there is if I'm raising these children by myself, I'm
Right.
going to raise them from the perspective that I have, which is mostly led by emotions.
Right.
Back then when you were saying that they had an unspoken, there was an unspoken agreement. Well, the agreement was that, as you said, the husband would carry out his part, and he did. And the wives carried out their part,
Yes.
and mothers, and as they did. And it's like one of these things that went down generation to generation.
Yes.
It was literally an understood.
Absolutely.
And if they went to church, it was an understood there. It was an understood at school.
But let's just go back further than that. If we go back to just the pioneer days, I know if people hate when you go there, but let's think about it. Everything was structured from something, right? God built us a certain way. Back in the pioneer days, it was either kill or be killed, survive or don't survive. So back in the pioneer days, you had, as a man, you had to find one thing, shelter. And if you had a wife, you had to make sure that wife had shelter. One thing, you had to have provision. Well, we didn't have Piggly Wiggly. We didn't have Lowe's. We didn't have all these different stores back
You
then.
had to buy it, kill
So
it, cook it,
that's
or
right.
build it.
So that means you had to go out. So
Yeah.
when he left the house or left the shelter that day, she had to wait till he get back.
Yeah.
And hoping that he had enough skills
To get
to
back.
make it back with
Yeah.
all the dangerous
Yeah.
stuff going on.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier today. We said back then the man carries some things. He already seen things ahead of time. That's one of the things about masculinity. You should be able to project what's going on in your family before it even gets started. You should be able to have provisions ready. He took rope. He took some type of flint or some type of lighting ignite and something to ignite fire. And he took a knife. Why? Because he didn't know if he going to get caught up in something. Had to need that rope, need that knife, need that fire just to survive. It was not just to go there and just say, oh, I got it because it's a cool kit. This was my survival kit because I got to make it back home with a deer. I got to make it back home with some wild animals, something to cook so my family have something to eat for the rest of the season. So that's when the roles or the unwritten rules happened, because she knew she wasn't going out there, right? He knew he wouldn't be able to stay at home and make sure the kids are educated and make sure all that. So the agreement was, I'll go do this. When I come back, I'll make sure I come back in one piece.
So it probably started, so legit, it probably started without taking everybody too biblical, but that's just who we are.
Where it started
Without-
in Genesis.
It started
really.
in Genesis.
It really did.
So, and they wouldn't have had to, because they could have just been in the garden eating and naked, doing what they
Yeah.
wanted to do, and never getting fat, and always having abs,
Yes.
and eating from the garden, from the buffet of the garden, all they wanted to. But
So
when
Genesis chapter 2.
when they so when they were put out, and then God said you will have to till the ground.
Yes.
Right. So that was part of it right there.
Yeah.
So the assignments
Right.
or the roles were kind of set up right then.
Right.
So I think it's like, if we get back to Mother's Day, I think a big part of it is, as I said, that our roles had to shift, that mothers had to take on a different role.
Right.
And because we had to take on that different role, we'll find ourselves leading our families from what we know
That's
as
right.
women, because we
That's right.
all have a certain intuitions that are built
Yes.
into us,
Mhm.
certain things that are built into us, and I can only teach from mine. You
Right.
teach from yours. You teach from yours. I think whenever if there was a time that the men were no longer there, maybe it was war, I don't know. Whenever men were
Yes.
no longer there,
Absolutely.
right? And then we were like, we got to do this
Absolutely.
ourselves. We
Yeah.
have to do this ourselves.
Yes.
And it has worsened over the last few decades.
here's
It definitely has worsened.
Here's the thing, I'll give a shout out to all the mothers, especially when we celebrate you on Mother's Day. Because be honest with you, listen to me closely. Y'all, the female in this society, in this area, in the United States, you literally had to pivot your whole
Absolutely.
identity.
Absolutely.
The men didn't have to pivot. We just lost it. We're sitting in limbo.
Our pivot was maybe
Y'all
because
pivot
y'all
was
lost
becoming more masculine,
more
right?
masculine, yeah.
Because, like you said, war was a factor.
But we didn't know that we were.
When the men had to go to war, and some of them did not come back, some of them stayed over there because of some of the racial or societal things over here. So especially some of the black men, they felt like, hey, it was better society over there. You know, they accept me better over there. And some of them just did not come back to the United States, right? And some of them actually died. Of course, what they call now, you can't say that word now. They use unlive. Some of them came back unlived. So
What you're saying, dead?
yes,
Oh,
but
okay.
that's not
You can say
politically
dead.
correct. Now, I
Of
mean,
all the words
yeah.
you say, dead is one you're not gonna say.
But online, it's a different world now, different
Okay.
culture. They like
Okay.
the unalive. So they come back unalive. So
I don't think that's our podcast.
But I'm telling, and then some of them come back. A lot of them come back, strung out on substance or something like that, and they never fell back into that masculine position. Why? One is because some of those positions were filled up by the
Women.
females because they had to work. They had to work some of the factories. So hats off to the mothers. Y'all had to pivot. I'm telling you, if you think about it, your whole culture had to pivot. You had to figure it out.
We had to figure it out.
You had to
And
figure it out.
definitely amongst black and brown women.
Yes.
I think still that's even shifting though.
Yes.
It's becoming a societal or an American culture period that women have had to fill in the role of men or fill in masculine roles. So it's becoming less and less it's becoming a societal thing and not
Yes.
just prominently a black or brown thing, right?
Yeah.
So that is so sad.
It's
but
cultural.
It's cultural. And cultural, I mean
It's okay
American,
now. Yeah,
Americanized
American
culture.
culture, yeah.
But this is the thing though, as women, we don't want to be in that role.
That's right.
Most women do not. I can never speak for all women.
I got you.
But whenever you are out of sync with what God purposed for us to be, it causes generational misalignment.
Yes.
So when we are out of sync, it causes generational misalignment. It's not just something that I cause to my sons, because I can look at it and see so many things that I've caused amongst my boys, right?
Not intentionally.
Not intentionally, absolutely not. But then you'll see it cycled in their children.
Yes.
And you'll see it cycled for generations. And that's where we are right now.
Yes.
This did not happen with our generation.
Right.
Right?
Right.
The women having
Absolutely.
to become more masculine did not happen with our generation.
Right.
It did not happen with my mama's generation.
right.
It was a paradigm that was already shifting.
Shifting.
And because it was already shifting and these things were already happening, then all you can do is you find yourself living. So you are too worn out by life to try to fix it.
God for mothers.
Or to even know that it's there, right?
Yes.
So sometimes I don't even know what I'm dealing with until after I'm having to fix the consequences of what I created. What do I mean by this? One of my sons the other day was telling me, not gonna say which one, but one of them was telling me the other day about a young lady that he was very much interested in. I've known that the young lady was his wife. Now, I've just known it. Maybe I'm like King Lemuel's mother in the Bible. If you say, who is that? That's the lady who was talking to her son where the proverbial woman come from, right?
Right.
So he was reciting about a conversation King Lemuel had with his mother, talking about all these different things. So that means that mamas do have some insight.
Right.
We kind of know.
Absolutely.
We might not always know exactly who she is,
Oh,
but
I got a
usually
word for
know
that.
who she ain't, right?
No, I got a word for
So
that.
anyway, I was talking to him about this young lady, and I have probably since he was a teenager. I
Yes.
just saw him. And then he sent me a text yesterday, the day before, and he was like, "Mama, she is it." And he said, how do I start planning for her?
Yeah.
For one, I felt like that was probably a conversation you should have had with his father or
Right.
with you. But he was having a conversation with me. So I had to kind of steer him towards the men, because we have taken that on so much. And I could have just went ahead and told him some things I did, but
That's
it
right.
was a steer toward talking to Ray, talk to your dad, But what I could tell him is, as you just said about making provisions, men make provision for the
Yes.
life they want.
Yes.
And he said to me, Ma, I want to make a good life for her. Like, where do I start? I want to make a good life for her.
Yes.
I know that I've shown my boys the danger in staying too long.
Yes.
Sometimes you can stay places too long. Sometimes you can get out of situations too fast. Sometimes you can do way too much. So they have seen me operate with an S on my chest. Not because I wanted to, but they've seen me, when people say get it out the mud, they say that. But really, are you? So they have witnessed me do
Right.
that. They've witnessed me do a whole lot of things to make things happen for them. But I never want them to think that's what it's supposed to do. And one of the consequences of women having to operate in a masculine role is we create generational cycles, and we create men who think that's the
So
way it's
put a whole-
supposed to be
hold a
because
pause
my
for it.
mama did that.
Yeah, so put a whole pause there, because
Okay.
I want to just commend you for directing him to a male figure, and that the correct male figure. Let me put it that way, because every man that wears pants ain't a man. You know what I'm saying? I put it that way. So just you play with that in your mind. But here's what I'm saying is that oftentimes because you had to do it a lot on your own, it would have been easier for you to give him the answer from what you lacked in your situation, for what you lacked in your relationship. And that's the consequence behind it, because that's the emotional part of it. You can go back and think of all the things that I liked in my previous. This is what you don't do, son.
Yeah.
This is what you should do, son.
Absolutely.
But that would be causing, like you said, a generational thing that only came
Definitely counterproductive.
Yeah, because it came from a place of lack, scarcity.
Yeah. And I don't want to give any advice from a place of lack. I have done it.
Yes.
Now I've definitely done it and lived a life from a place of lack, and it makes you see the world different.
Yes.
So that's one of the things I've done. Another, I could just look over it now that they're grown, and I could see so many things that they think are what mothers or women are supposed to do because I did it.
Yes.
And so now, even though they're grown, I'm in a space of showing them, no, that's not how that's supposed to be. So there are so many times where they'll come to me with stuff, and I may have the answer.
Right.
But I am intentional, and I mean I'm going to do it. I am intentional to steer them towards you.
And because that's one of the things I think even Dr. Opone told us a long time ago. He said every male species has an image of themselves growing up, except for man.
Except for men.
So when you directed them back to man, you were saying that the information you're getting, you're going to get it from a person you're going to look exactly like when you get that age.
Yeah, yeah.
They need to see a mirror of what it's going to be like for them to become a man.
They need to see it.
And oftentimes us men didn't have that, right? So the only one we had where we got it from is our mothers, because our mothers was there. Even my dad was in the house. He was a working man. He was moving around. He was getting it done. But I also seen my mama working and getting it done.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's times when she had to walk to work. We walked with her. She walked with the kids, right? They owned a snack. They owned a restaurant.
Snack bar.
Yeah, a snack bar. And to get there, she was up early in the morning. We were walking miles to get there. Miles to get there with 3 kids.
With
three
three
kids. So I've seen her operate in an era where she know if I did not do this, then we would not be able to provide or put food on the table like we ought to. Yeah. That should not have been. But it happened. So what did I see when I coming up? I seen a strong black woman doing things. Hats off to your mom. Thank you for sacrificing. Yes. Thank you for that. But I'm also aware of that should not have been a role you should have had to play. Yeah. But I pride myself in making a better choice. I want to do something different.
So what do you think that taught you, though? That taught you want to do different.
That taught me I wanted to do
like anything like specific.
Yes, that taught me that the lady that I married, the lady that I become in a relationship with, that she would never have to worry about wanting something for herself. I can get it for her. I've always felt like I had that providing thing that had to happen because I seen it. I seen the woman I love. At the time, every boy, when they see their mama, that's the girl.
That's the first girl they love.
Yes, that's the first girl they love. And I've seen it. I've seen men try to come pick her up while we was walking. Because my mom was a pretty
your mama tells that story about you trying to fight the man at 8 years old. Trying to fight at 8 years old.
My mom was a pretty lady. She is a pretty lady. She was walking, and it still is. But they would stop and try to pick her up and say, do you want to ride? She was like, no.
So that taught you to be a protector.
Yes. So I got a chance to see a woman that was not even, I seen a woman know how to act in the face of a man. Yeah. That actually could have made it very difficult for her marriage. Yeah. She could have jumped in that car. What kind of consequences that would have been? She could have said, yeah, I got old lazy dude, ain't doing this, and I'm just going to jump. She could have told, but she didn't show me that. So I got a chance to see a woman in her integrity.
And I think
walking outside of her role.
Ooh.
So you still got to have integrity.
So and as you said, hats off to your mother, hats off to my mother too, because my mother is an amazing woman, a remarkable woman. And to my dad, and we'll talk about that in our Father's Day, because my dad was my bonus dad. Like I've said before, I did not know he was until I was older. I did not meet my biological father until I was 28. Yes. But he stepped in the gap, right? Yes. So Father's Day is a big deal to me. Yes. Because he didn't have to do that. Right. And there was never a separation. But my mama was that gas.
Get in that episode.
Yeah, but my mama was that gas.
Yes.
And one thing though, I was so afraid to meet your mama when we were dating, because I know how you saw your mama, right? I know your mama was larger than life for you.
Yes.
And I just thought, oh, she's so quiet. She's docile, which I know everybody loves Pastor Conaway. And I was thinking, oh my God, I was horrified of meeting her. She knew I was divorced. I got these 3 kids. Like, what is she gonna think
Right.
about me? And is she quiet all the time? I'm never quiet.
Right.
What is she gonna think about me? I love God, but my clothes might not always look like traditional woman that loves God. But when I met your mother, because I know she was an amazing human to you,
Yes.
because I know the way that you see about me.
Yes.
And I know that the way you see about your kids. So with that, I knew that something in there had to come from your parents. So whenever I met her, I learned, wait a minute, she is quieter than me, but she has a very loud spirit.
Yes.
And she is a very
her energy
is
strong.
very loud. It's very big. She's very decisive. She's very caring. She's very loving. She's not docile.
Right.
She's just not all over the place in people's business.
That's right.
She doesn't do any of that. But one of the things that she showed me how to love you better, because she talked to me about your dad.
Yes, right.
And the things he liked and didn't like. And I was like, wait, good gracious, that's the same way Ray is. So honor her in so many ways, because of the way she mothered you is the way that you wife me.
That's it.
And you do make life easier for me. And I know and even not just for me, your sister, you straight up see about your sister. Yeah. And your sister, it doesn't matter what it is or what your sister need, you are going to go to the aid of your sister. So I know that a lot of that is because of Naomi.
Yeah.
And the way you are with Naomi. So as mothers, we are so, and I say we because I'm in that club of being a mama, and it's the hardest, worst paying job because you don't get no money for it in money, but it's the best paying job ever. It is the job with the most benefits ever. Yes. You don't, when you go to work and you clock in, you never clock out.
Yes.
You always clocked in. And even if, God forbid, something happens to your children,
yes,
your heart, the heart of a mother is still always beating. It's always on. It never shuts off, and, even if they didn't come from your body.
This is why I appreciate not only my mothers, I just appreciate mothers and all. I just appreciate my sisters, because here's the thing. This is what I told one of the young men, and I also told my boys this. After they got grown and as they start moving on, I asked them, what more do you want from your mother? What more you want from them? Because they have sacrificed so much. The pivoting, listen, if you just think about the pivoting, I know that most of the young men was raised already in the generation seeing the women and lead, and seeing the women leading, and seeing the women doing this and seeing the women doing that and making a way and providing and having all these answers. That ain't always been the story.
Yeah.
They had to change their very nature to make sure you okay.
Yeah.
So when you see your mother, it should not be an issue. You should always love her. You should always hug her. I don't care what she have said. I don't care what she done, what you feel like she have done, how she left you by yourself, or how she put you out. I mean, you should take under the consideration of what she had to do just as a woman.
Yeah.
How she had to evolve, how she had to maintain, how she had to make it work. And embrace her. Listen, Mother's Day is one of the most important days ever, simply for the reason of we have women that had to fight through the struggle.
Yeah.
Especially the women that had to do it by themselves.
Yeah.
Single. Yeah. Because some of the women that's married still had to do the masculine part, right?
Absolutely. And what's sad about that is, because I've been on both sides of the fence, right?
Yes.
And what's sad about that, if you're a mother who is married and you're doing things by yourself, it's even harder to get people to help you, because they see that you got somebody there who's supposed to be helping you. Mm-hmm. So you find yourself without help a lot.
That's it.
And and the single mother, as a single mother, and I'm not knocking it. This is just I just want to take just 1 second to say this, because there are so many mothers. We'll see people like, oh, she's a single mother. Oh, she's a single mother. And I know it's hard. I get it.
Wow.
But you want to know what hard is? And I'm not knocking, like I've told you, I won't knock anybody. I'm not saying that. I'm just going to tell you my experience. And my experience is if you are a wife and you are a mother,
Yes.
there are things in place for mothers who are single. Oh, she's a single mom. I'll babysit the kids this week.
Yes.
Or, oh, I mean, there's governmental things in
Yes.
place that'll help mothers that are single.
Single.
There's things that'll help you go to school if you're single and you're
Yes.
a mother and you're single. When you're married, it's not that. They just assume that everything's in alignment because you're married. They assume that you got the money you need. You got the
Yes.
support that you need. They assume that you don't need anything else, right? It was much harder for me to be married
Ooh.
than it was for
Wow.
me to be single.
Wow.
Being a mother,
That's good.
being a mother while I was married was much harder
Yes.
because there are two voices
Yes, sir.
in the
This is one.
same space that children have to contend with.
Yes.
And that's why as mothers, a lot of times we got to make the decision. Do I stay or do I go? Because not only am I making it harder for me, but I would, by staying too long or leaving too soon, I'm just going to say staying too long, you make it harder for their father too.
Yes.
Because there's things that they need to be doing.
And especially if y'all are not
It,
on one accord.
but the thing is
Or not bending the bill.
only if you're not on one accord.
That's right.
If you're on one accord, you don't have these issues.
You don't have no issues.
But if you're not on one accord, then it's hell to pay.
Yeah.
That's just the only way I know how to tell you. So you got the children. I'm
a
trying to
two-headed
show.
beast in the house.
Yes. Then you create children who grow
Used
up
to
and
that,
they
yeah.
think yes that this is the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
That dysfunction becomes normal, and we should never have our children in situations where dysfunction becomes normal to them. So I don't want you to think that your mother's supposed to work all these hours while she's married, or do all of these things while you're married, or move the way she's moving like that. Because what the bad part about it is, I don't ever want you to expect that of anybody else. I told my boys, now this is a God-given truth, and I'll throw it back off to you. I told my boys, I
Yes.
said, I'm busting my butt for all of y'all to get a college degree or get a trade degree. Then I didn't say trade. And when you came along, I realized that you could really make a lot of money
make a lot
being
of
a
money.
trade.
Trade ain't no joke.
But I encourage them all, get a college degree, because your wife working should be an option. I know we are
Yes.
in a society that says it takes two, and I get it. It really does. But it only takes two if you're used to a lifestyle, if you want
That's
a certain
right.
lifestyle.
That's right.
Because people live with one income for a long time.
Absolutely.
So I told them, though, it is your responsibility to make sure that your family
Yes.
has. That is your responsibility. And I'm busting my tail to make sure that your wife doesn't have to do this. So any of the good that women get coming
Love it.
along from my boys, I got to take some of that credit. I don't have to say it like that, but I'm just saying, because when I tell you I laid my life down so my children could have, not just my children, but their children, their wives, their grandchildren,
Yes.
And like I said, sometimes motherhood is, you don't get all the return on your investment.
Yes.
But it's still worth the investment.
So let me say this, and just to put up, we might have to back up just a little bit, but I'm gonna fast forward back to where you at, because the roles of the mother is very important, especially in this day and time. But what I want to show you how even society would play a part in that shift. When you said the single mothers, they had assistance, they had some help, but when you're married and you had issues, or maybe the male might have got sick, he might have got hurt, he might have lost his job, he might have couldn't find any work, whatever the problem was, he
Whatever
might have
the
didn't want to
situation.
work.
Uh-huh.
He might have just been addicted or got strung out. Anything could have happened in the marriage. It is hard to find help when you are, like you said, already in a marriage, right? So what the society did, and what we done as a society, is we're gonna help the single woman.
Yeah.
So it was easier to put your man out
Yeah. So you
to get
encourage
the
singleness.
assistance.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of the welfare systems and a lot of the things in which I don't knock it. If you're on that, God bless you. If you need it, I say stay on it until you. But it was a
you
stepping
can do
stone
better.
until you do better. It never supposed to have been a lifestyle.
I know.
But what happened, it crippled society and it became a lifestyle
became a
more than anything
lifestyle.
else.
Yes,
And
it
it's not a white thing, it's not a black thing, it's not a blue thing, it's not a yellow thing, it's a societal thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it was easy to say, okay, I'd rather put the man out to get the assistance so my babies can have, than versus have a man in there that I'm having to butt heads with all the time.
But it disproportionately, and then I promise we're gonna be done. It disproportionately affected Black and brown families.
Oh, absolutely.
Because one thing that we had as Black and brown families was we had families. So I remember when my son, my oldest son Trey, was going to Savannah State, the Savannah State University. One day I'll have that as on my chest as my alma mater. But anyway, so my son Trey was in Savannah State, and one of my pages, her name was Miss Tommy, God bless her. So she was like 96 years old. And she was asking me to buy a ticket for her church. And I said, Miss Tommy, I don't have it. So every dollar I got extra goes to my son at Savannah State. She's at my son in school. She says, why don't he have a job? I said, well, he does. He's trying to find, he does, little things around the school that he can pick up, but he can't find a job that'll work with his schedule. And she said, where you go to school at? And I said, Savannah State. She said, what? She got on that phone and she called her son. By the end of the next day, my son was employed at Savannah State.
Wow.
She said, let me tell you something, baby. She was 95, 96 years old. Miss Tommy Ogden, that was her name. She said, there was a time that if my child was in New York City, I could call up Selma and Leroy in New York City would make sure my child had. Yeah. If my child was in California, I'll call up John Brown and make sure my child had. We have lost what we found the most important, and that is family. But this was a mother. Yeah. This was a mother that felt the heart of another mother and said, wait a minute, I'm finna step in there and I'm finna do it. That's what I mean. Mothers don't take off their mother hat. Right. She mothered my child. And so I'm impressed to mother other people's children.
That's it.
It's just who you are, right? But we can't be those mothers that don't want to be mothers, or we think that's an old-fashioned term,
yes.
Or we think that's something that's outdated, because we got to continue. It should be perpetual, right? The love of a mother should be perpetual. That means ever going. So whenever it's not my children, because your children are always watching you, even as you're grown, even if it's your grandchildren, even if it's the auntie, even if it's any of those things, though the mothers are still very important, and it should continue on like that.
Let me springboard off that, because you said it should be perpetual. Now, you don't even have to have biological kids to be a mother.
No, you do not.
It's in your nature to mother.
It is.
Mother is just simply meaning that you have the ability to nurture. You have the ability
beyond
to cultivate.
Yourself. Love
you have
beyond
the ability to cultivate. I always tell this to my men too. Listen, when you meet a lady, she ought to leave your presence better. Women, mothers, single mothers, women is going into a relationship. If you're in a relationship with a guy, if you're talking back and forth with a guy, conversating with a guy, when you leave him, you should be better than when you came up. If there's no better, there's a problem. There's bitter.
Yeah.
Because you are meant to cultivate. So even when the mother has that ability to cultivate, the father has the ability to cultivate, or the man has the ability to cultivate who he come in contact with, guess what? So you do not have to have the biological kid in order to be a mother. You can be mothering anybody. That's one of the things that's why I came up with the segment, the unk moments. Because you don't have to be a biological uncle to be an unk.
Yeah.
That means to teach someone
to love
something.
And give your experience, to share your experience.
Yes.
And the beautiful part about being a mother, because mothers, like you said, they don't have to be of your body, right?
Yes.
You can carry them in your heart, even if you didn't carry them under your heart. So
wow.
So you can be a mother.
Right.
We know a few women who are amazing mothers.
Amazing.
And they've never given birth to a child.
Right.
We know several women who have stepped up. I know from my sons, and they have stepped into space and done things for them that I could not do.
Yes.
And they have loved on them. They never told anybody. They filled in the blanks for them. They filled in the gaps. They answered the phone. They went to go see about them. That's what mothers do.
That's
what mothers do. And even as it relates to the church, I know there's so many people coming down on the church and saying all these horrific things about the church. Sadly, some of them are true. But I think a lot of that is because the church mothers have shifted. So
yeah.
I am in my 40s. I'm in my 40s.
You said it.
I am in my late 40s. Next year you better do something big, right? But I'm in my late 40s.
Yes.
But one thing I know is that I am a mother to people who are much younger than me. Much older than me. I'm a mother to people who are much older than me. And you probably say, what in the world is that? I All I know is it must just be my nature. God told me years ago I had a Naomi anointing. And as I get older, I'm starting to learn that more and more. That the Naomi anointing just means I may not be the person. This always shows me up when I talk about her. Because I didn't know that God was going to give me a real Naomi when he gave me your mama. So I didn't expect that. But when God showed me in 2013 to dig deep in Naomi, I did not understand it fully. And I'm still learning it. But one thing that I do know is that I do know that I have a Naomi anointing. The book is named Ruth. Naomi doesn't get a lot of the credit.
Yes.
But there'd be no Ruth without Naomi.
Absolutely.
Naomi, whenever she left her home, she made a decision and she chose her family. She chose her family. And her family got bigger when Ruth came along.
Yes.
And then whenever Orpha went back to her homeland, which there was nothing wrong with Orpha. Orpha gets a bad rap, but she shouldn't have, because societal norms where you go back if you don't have a child, right?
That's right.
But Ruth decided to come on. And we'll talk about the story of Boaz and all that, make it a big love story. But the biggest love story was Ruth and Naomi.
Yes.
That was the greatest love story.
She mothered somebody that she didn't have.
She mothered somebody who served a God different than the God she served.
And when biological.
It wasn't her child. And it was so different. She was from a different place. And you came into me and you are a constant reminder of what I lost. Her son was lost. He was gone. So you're a reminder of what was lost. But I love you so much till I want you to win. Even though my life is different, even though I'm left here with no provision. We talked about you making provision for me, right? You make provision for us, because it ain't just me, it's us. But you make provision for us. But Naomi had no more provision.
That's right.
It was gone.
Yes.
But she said, well, the little I got is yours. Go with me. You can go with me. And that's what she did.
And the knowledge and the instructions that she gave her.
All of those things. And I may not be the person out front. I don't have to be. But you're going to win, because my goal in life is for you to win.
That's the mothers.
I want you to win.
That's the mothers.
I want you to come out on top. If they never roll my name in the credits, that's what a Naomi anointing is. That's what a real mama does. They don't have to roll my name in the credits. I don't have to be the person up there getting a degree. There's been so many people that I know I've pushed to start businesses. I've pushed them to go out and do the thing. I can see one of my girlfriends, we was having a conversation in a car going to Savannah one year, and she said, I want to make cakes. Make cakes. Then I'm good at decorating. I want to decorate. We had these conversations together. And when I see her post on Facebook, my heart just explodes, right? But you can see all these different people. And I'm like, I told her, go on to school. You can do it. Go. You can do it. That is your family. Go for your family. All these different things. And if a person is bitter, if a woman is bitter, it's very easy for her to say, well, when is it my turn? When is it my turn? But the beauty of being a mother, a real mama that loves, truly loves, is that if your turn is every time they win. Every time she or he wins, that's your turn. That's whenever you say, thank you, God. Thank you, because you use me. And whatever I gave them, if it's a hot meal, if it's washing their clothes, if it's words of encouragement, if it's a water when they're thirsty, if it's a place to land their head, if it's a place to vent, whatever it is, that's what mothers do. That's what my mother did. My mother stood there, Ma, as we called her. Ma stood there. She don't have anything fancy. I've always wanted her to have the fancy house. I've always wanted her to have those things because she is such an amazing mother. And and she was walking up the road, my mama. Her car messed up during a hurricane. She was walking up the road to get to work. And I told you, I said, Ray, I don't want my mama walking up the road.
That's right.
Getting waiting to get a ride to go to work. I'm sorry. But wanting to get a ride to go to work. And I said, I'm going to let her drive my car a couple of days. And then I came back to you and I said, Ray, can Mom just have my car?
Yeah.
And it ain't no beat up car. It was a nice car. And I said, can Mom have my car? And I'm still paying on the car, right? I was still paying on the car. And you said, of course you can.
Yeah.
Never had another conversation about it. I know that's because of the way you love your mama. And you told me, baby, we don't need to have them conversations like that about your mama.
That's right.
Mama is mama. And mama gets what mama needs. We don't need to have that conversation anymore. So I just say to the mothers and the aunties and the grandmamas and the sugars and the coaches, and you know who you are, especially two of you when I say the coaches, you know who you are. Those of you, whenever the bell is called, the bell is rung and the names are called, yours may not be in the credits, but continue to do the work that you're doing.
Yes.
Because you're making a difference. I promise you're making a difference. The world sees you because they see the work that you've invested in. Yeah. They see those men and those women that other people would have given up on. They see the choices that you made that didn't necessarily benefit you, but they benefited someone. They see that. Don't let anyone tell you that being a mama is not a big deal. Even if you are a stay-at-home mama, do you know how amazing you are? Even if you are a mama that's got to work those crazy jobs that women don't technically are in societal roles, don't usually work. Even if you're not doing those jobs, it's okay. Even if you don't have the fancy degree, it's all right.
Yes.
Keep being a mama. Keep showing up. Keep loving on your children, your grandchildren, the children of the community, the children in your church. Don't ever be that bitter woman. Don't choose bitterness. Choose better. And I promise you, at the end of the day, God is smiling on you. So until we see you again, from me.
And from who? Me?
From me. This from me.
Oh, from me?
You got to give it from you.
Right. From me. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
guys,
Day.
Please take care of your mothers this year. And I'm sort of curious, though. Something just happened. Something just happened while we was recording. What is in that bag? I am nosy. It's about to kill me.
It's not yours. Well, it's not yours. Continue.
But that's amazing. Thank God. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Listen, guys, please treat your mothers well this year, right? Make sure you go beyond the call of duty to make sure she have what she have. We love you.
We love you.
Yes.
So until we meet again, stay close, stay connected, stay covered. Be blessed.
Love you.
I consider it an honor just to hold your hand. Who would have known that God had all this in his plans?